It's time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by the Butterfly Palace. Have the best day ever at the Butterfly Palace. Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service. Call Southwest Missouri's best plumber today for a free estimate. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Howdy, howdy. It's just Ethan today. Sarah, my better half, is in Africa, Tanzania, where she's been for 1 week now. She's on her second week, along with our 10-year-old boy, and then she'll be back. So I spent Valentine's Day alone. Now, I had my two girls and our two girls, and we had a good time, but looking forward to Sarah being home. I got to speak with her on the phone yesterday, and she did get the text I sent her of a picture of some flowers. So she was pretty thrilled with that. So I think I'm good. Until she gets back, and then we'll probably have dinner or something. So that's what's happening there. I'm solo tonight. Diana will probably be back tomorrow morning, but at any rate, let's get a little news going, and it's tragic news to start the newscast, the broadcast this morning. It was a time of celebration that really turned into a time of mayhem and chaos and tragedy in Kansas City yesterday. At least one person killed in a shooting at the Chiefs rally at Union Station following the parade yesterday, the Chiefs victory parade. It happened just west of Union Station near the garage as fans were leaving. At least 22 other people were injured, 5 of them seriously, and many of the victims were children who were shot, who were being treated at a children's hospital. We now know the person who was killed was Lisa Lopez, a radio personality in Kansas City, so a person that the public was very familiar with, and just incredibly sad. The radio station posted on their social media that she was just a wonderful person, and this is such a senseless tragedy. At least 3 people were arrested in the shootings. Witnesses described them as young, which is interesting. And you may have seen video. I saw a video of this, fans tackling at least one of the shooters. So kudos to them. They're heroes. They may have stopped the deaths of more people. Who knows? But fans were able to tackle at least one of the shooters, and police were able to arrest that person. It was a big crowd yesterday. 1 million people were expected to turn out and celebrate the Chiefs' back-to-back Super Bowl championships. But this certainly mars that event. It mars the Super Bowl championship in the short term anyway. It's just a tragedy. And there are some others who were victimized who are in rough shape right now, so they could use your prayers for sure, and all of Kansas City. Excuse me. Back here closer to our neck of the woods, the Springfield School Board is considering new rules that would allow drug testing for students. One option the board is considering would give the district authority to drug test a student if an administrator has reasonable suspicion that the student is under the influence. The second option also includes random drug testing of high school students who participate in extracurricular activities. Right now, the district does not require students to undergo random testing for drugs or alcohol. So we'll see what the school board ends up deciding there and what the district recommends for the school board to take under consideration. Meanwhile, lawmakers in Jefferson City are looking at possible new regulations on cannabinoids, which come from the hemp plant. Those are currently not covered by the state's laws on marijuana, and as a result, can be sold in convenience stores to people of any age. There are no current age restrictions on cannabinoids. That could change because the legislature is looking at it right now. The day we told you about this yesterday, the day after Springfield passed a new law making some video gaming devices illegal, some of the establishments that offer those devices are now closed down. This week, the city council voted to ban video terminals that offer cash prizes. That went into effect immediately, and Springfield police, therefore, began to immediately patrol the places that they know of that offered those video gaming devices to make sure they weren't operating or write tickets if they were operating still. Violators can be fined and sent to jail, depending on how many times the violations occur. This is cool. Congratulations to two great Springfield businesses. They made the 2024 Forbes list of America's best large employers. Very cool. O'Reilly Auto Parts came in at number 459, and Forvis, which you may know as BKD, used to be called BKD, that landed at number 561 on the Forbes list of America's best large employers. So good for them. That's fantastic. The Community Foundation of the Ozarks was curious about the giving preferences of the younger generations of Southwest Missouri, so it commissioned a study. It looked at donors 40 and younger, asked them some questions, and here's what they found. The results are out now. They show that those donors are less religious and less conservative than their parents. They are also less trusting of established charities. They prefer to give directly to individuals or families via something like GoFundMe, even if a portion of their money is taken out by that platform. They also find website donation pages too difficult or time-consuming to use. So that's good information for me and for somebody who works at an organization that is a nonprofit. The key is to make it as easy as possible using Venmo or things like that don't take a lot of clicks, don't require people to travel to another page and get out a credit card. So that's good information. Thanks to the Community Foundation of the Ozarks for doing that study for everybody in the area because it affects all of us. Internet upgrades are coming to Clever and to Republic. Cable America is putting in more than 30 miles of fiber and more than 20 miles of coaxial cable to speed up service. That adds up to $3.3 million worth of high-speed internet upgrades on the way this year. And speaking of upgrades are also coming to Hammond Student Center on the campus of Missouri State University, built back in 1976. Some storage areas in the west gym of the facility are being converted into a locker room for a new weight room. So those changes are taking place. Work should be completed by this fall. And this weekend, pet owners in the Ozarks can get good deals on vaccines and microchips for dogs and cats. The Humane Society of Southwest Missouri is hosting the event from 10 to 2 on Saturday. Microchips will go for $20, vaccines for $12. Walk-ins only, and it'll be first come, first served. I think only the first 80 people in line or first 80 animals in line. So heads up there if you're interested in getting a good deal on that. Microchips are a good way to go for your pets. And now to this. The bump scene around the world continues to be talked about. You know what I'm talking about. Travis Kelce bumping his coach Andy Reid during the Super Bowl. Very heated exchange. One way, Kelce to Reid. Travis and his brother Jason talked about it on their podcast this week. Travis said that some people were angry at him for that because they saw it on TV. They saw the still image and it doesn't look great. But he says he gets it, and he knows that he can't get that fired up to the point where it gets physical with his coach. But that he loves Coach Reid, even to the point where when Coach Reid leaves, Kelce leaves, is kind of what he implied there. But he said that he immediately knew that he went a little too far with it, shouldn't have done it. I don't know if that's the case or if he immediately knew when he started to hear reaction from it and people didn't like it. He also admitted that his emotions can get away from him, adding that that's been the battle of his career. So, yeah, the history with this sort of thing. Here's what I think about it. I don't have strong feelings about it either way. Because here's what I do know. That people, I mean, that type of intensity is an intensity that most of us will never experience. That's not part of our jobs on a regular basis. There can be intensity, and it can get intense at times. Television was like that. I mean, I remember there are times we're yelling at people on the set during commercial breaks in the newsroom because I mean it has to happen. You don't have time to pussyfoot around and be ask if I may have this, please. You need it now. And that's nowhere near what this is. So I know that when you're playing at that sort of a level, there's such an intensity that's involved with it that those types of things can happen. And then immediately after it, because it's the high and then it's the letdown, and then everybody's fine. I mean, there are typically no hard feelings after that because it's the heat of the moment. What's said in the heat of the moment is uh, is determined by the need. And Kelce, as he saw it, the need was for him to get back in the game and score some points so the Chiefs could win the Super Bowl. Now, I didn't like the bump. I thought that was a little bit much. He even admitted that it was a little bit much, and that that could have gone way wrong. If he knocks him off a little bit more, the coach is gonna fall over. That's not a good situation. So I think the bump was a mistake. I don't think the bump was necessarily intentional. But I didn't have an issue with the passion, the intensity of the get me in the game. I got to get in the game because he needed to get in the game and they needed to get him the ball. And it's such a different level. People at the top of their game. You don't always have to be a jerk, but sometimes that's what gets hurt. The jerkiness of the moment. We can't argue about this. Do it. So anyway, that's how I see it for what it's worth, which ain't much. All right. Well, that'll do it for the podcast. We got 11 and a half minutes, me talking by myself. God bless you for sticking with me. I don't know that I would have. I'll be honest with you. But I appreciate it. I just want to say this. Sarah and I really appreciate you watching the podcast, you listening to the podcast. We hear from so many of you that do, and Midwest Family Radio, who puts it on, hears from so many of you that do. So we're very, very grateful. We appreciate our sponsors so much. You can see the names of our sponsors scrolling at the bottom. They allow us to do this. So whenever you see their names scroll across, make sure you take advantage of the services they have to offer. They're all great organizations and companies. So we're proud to have them on board. Okay, I've done enough talking for Thursday morning. Thank you again for watching. I'll see if I can get out of this thing swiftly without looking like I'm confused, because Sarah usually runs the board here for me on the podcast. But she'll be back, or tomorrow will be her first podcast back. So she's having a great time in Tanzania. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.